Watching some of that coverage tomorrow on ESPNU as you look at Josh Gray, a young man from Louisiana who originally signed with Mississippi State, and when Rick Stansbury retired, he didn't want to play there, and quickly signed with Texas Tech.
Not only that, though, but Kansas State was in the running for him, so Coach Walker was telling them down the stretch, hey, these guys recruited you. You should be able to get up for this.
Jordan Tolbert led all scorers with 10 points in that first half. Josh Gray doesn't go to his left very often. The lob inside to Crockett. Nurse from the outside gets that to go home. Mini fist pump for Ty Nurse.
And you know, Ty Nurse has been struggling from distance this year, only shooting 18%, but he was the guy for them from distance last year and showed a lot of confidence now getting back into the fold, but they need a confident Ty Nurse down the stretch for them to do well against the Wildcats.
7 for 35 on the season, Ty Nurse. And the slam by Crockett. And the crowd is on their feet, down by only 3.
And that was just great hands by the Red Ragers. Active hands affecting the basketball, getting in there, and Crockett coast to coast steal and the transition point.
Rodney Magruder. Rodriguez from the corner.
That was great ball movement, Doug. You see that ball touched multiple hands, and then went to the wide open Angel Rodriguez on the baseline for the jumper.
He's 3 of 5 from behind the stripe, Rodriguez. Tolbert had that tremendous first half, up and under.
And I'd like to see Tolbert go immediately when he gets the basketball, not wait for the defense to settle in.
And a foul inside. Goes against Texas Tech.
And look at the active hands by Crockett, just getting in there, and Tolbert had a hand in there as well, and then Crockett just took it coast to coast, didn't see any defense around them, and got the crowd involved. And I know Chris Walker could not have envisioned a better start for his Red Raiders in the second half.
That last foul was whistled against Jordan Tolbert, his first, and Magruder with the left hand. He wanted the and one, but did not get the whistle. Gray, left hand off the glass.
Horrible defense by the Wildcats. I know Bruce Weber cannot be excited about that. Can't let a guy go coast to coast 94 feet unhindered for a layup with his bad hand.
Here comes a steal by the Red Raiders. Let's see if it turns into points. Again, the scouting report, if you go to practice, they'll tell you Gray does not like to go to that left hand.
Not only that, he just has not made great decisions once he got past the teeth of the defense. He's got 21 assists and 25 turnovers. That's negative in the assist-to-turnover ratio. He's going to have to get a lot better at that if he wants to quarterback a Big 12 team.
Nurse looks up at the shot clock. And the miss. It has been a tough year for Ty Nurse from behind the arc, even though he did hit that one a moment ago.
A tough year for Texas Tech from beyond the arc, shooting Big 12 worst, 27%, so they don't get a lot of points. They average about a little under 5 threes per game.
Thomas Gibson just backing him in. Misses the gimme, but gets the offensive rebound.
And really, that's the only way Thomas Gibson can score is with angles, using that body. And the Red Raiders did a good job of getting in front of him, making it difficult for him to get to the rim.
Kravich now back in for Texas Tech. Gocher is back in. Dusty Hanna is back in for the Red Raiders as Chris Walker just continues to go to that merry-go-round on the bench.
And what he's doing, he's keeping them fresh. And you see with immediately the hand on the ball by Kravich, it's working to the Red Raiders' benefit.
Wildcats basketball. The scrum on the floor, so they'll wipe up the sweat on the hardwood.
And this was all initiated by Kravich getting that deflection. And a lot of times you don't have to come up with the steal, just the ability to deflect the ball and allow your teammate to come with it. That's all you need for a great defensive team.
Gray comes up with the steal, puts the pocket Irving through the left. legs. Oh, what a nice play. Josh Gray.
And really what's impressing me most in this second half is the defensive prowess about Texas Tech. You see 5 steals. Texas Tech leads the Big 12 with 8.7 steals per game, and they're really active and energized on the defensive end in this second half.
Southwell was looking for Gibson, and now Gibson will set that big body screen. That's not exactly how you do the pick and roll. Gibson should have rolled a little quicker, Stephen.
I don't think there's much about Gibson's game that has quicker in it. He's the force, the power guy. Great rebound by Crockett. Defense does not stop on the defensive end until you get that defensive rebound. Tech doing a better job in the second half in that regard.
Not a huge crowd here in Lubbock, but the folks that are here are into the game, especially the student section. And Chris Walker hates that. 1 turnover in the first half, and that was a bad turnover. Check out Josh Gray. What a steal, and the finish. And we're back after this message from your friends at Phillips 66. Red Raiders on a mini run here in the start of the second half, down by only 4. Bruce Weber knows how big this game is. And check out the coach. Oh, yeah, that clipboard, I think that's broken.
And that's what Coach Weber was telling his team during shoot-around this morning. Look, this team beat Iowa State. They played with Kansas the whole game. They were in the game with West Virginia with 6 minutes left to go in the game. It just was a couple possessions, and here you see the steals, the active hands by Texas Tech. Josh Gray, Jay Crockett, Tolbert had their hands in there, and Josh Gray just picked this the whole way long. He saw it, he felt it, he took it, and he took it coast to coast for the nice lay-in by the Red Raiders.
The lob to Gibson. Banging inside net was blocked by Gocher, but he is fouled now by Gocher.
Foul number 20, Patrick Gocher.
Steals tonight with 5. Again, they lead the Big 12. Kansas State leads the Big 12 in scoring defense, allowing just under 58 points a game. That is outstanding as Gibson now tries to make the Red Raiders pay, and he misses the first.
And really, that's the scrappiness of the Red Raiders. Talent-wise, they know they don't have the same type of talent of your Kansas or even of your K-State. They have to beat you with effort, with energy, being active on the defensive end.
Five-point lead for Kansas State, 13th in the country in the AP poll, 15th in the ESPN coaches poll. We're live in Lubbock, Texas, United Spirit Arena. Doug Bell and former DePaul great Stephen Howard. This gorgeous basketball facility.
Notice Kansas State hedging really hard on the pick and roll of Texas Tech, and they worked on that all practice long.
Tolbert will jump hook. Boy, did everything but go down. That looked like Phil Mickelson's putt when he was going for 59 the other day. Did everything but go down.
Coach Walker is happy with that play, even though they didn't come up with the bucket. As long as they get good looks at the basket.
Southwell won't go, and Gocher inside. That has to be a shove from behind.
Foul number 22, Rodney Magruder.
Actually, the foul goes against Rodney Magruder, so there was some pushing and shoving going on both ends, and Magruder didn't like the call, and I didn't see it, frankly. I thought it went against Gocher.
Yeah, that's a tough call. Looked like Magruder was just going up in the air, and Gocher had his body on Magruder. I don't know if I agree with that call.
Tolbert very active, and there's a turnover. So 1 turnover in the first half, now 2 in the second half for Texas Tech.
And really, you saw right there a great slip by Jordan Tolbert, wide open to the basket. Jamal Williams just tried to hit a Jay Crockett that wasn't ready for the basketball.
Turnovers now. Kansas State with 7, and as we mentioned, Texas Tech well below their season average, almost 16 a game.
And really, Kansas State is number 18th in the country at assist-to-turnover ratio, so them getting 7 turnovers in the first half is not a norm.
Irving rattles the glass. They better check that. And Tolbert and Gibson banging, so that's a double foul.
And really, that's something that's been brewing all game long, going back all the way to the first half. Gibson and Tolbert just battling, and the officials just want to make sure it doesn't get elevated at all. You're going to see the ref just squarely on him, wanting to make sure that it doesn't elevate at all.
3 fouls on Gibson, so he will go to the bench, and Jordan Henriquez now back in.
Immediately Tech works right at Henriquez.
Henriquez stood his ground that time, and now Will Spradling.
And you can tell Tolbert knew that Henriquez is 7th in the Big 12 blocking shots. Henriquez didn't even have to jump, just used his length to his advantage.
Magruder got his own rebound. Irving, line drive shot. Needs a little more arc on that shot. And a travel goes against Rodney Magruder, who got knocked to the floor.
Second chance opportunities. K-State still attacking the offensive glass. The Red Raiders very fortunate that Rodney Magruder came up with a travel on that possession.
Todrick Gocher back in for Texas Tech. Dusty Hannas now checks in. Ty Nurse will replace Josh Gray.
Look to Tech to try to get it down on the baseline again for Jordan Tolbert. Did you see that rebound discrepancy? Plus 15 for Kansas State, doing an exceptional job on both ends of the floor on the glass.
The Raiders are hanging around despite that lopsided rebounding margin.
Tolbert doing the work down low. He's got Henriquez behind him. You got to give him the basketball.
Shot clock now at 3. Boy, that was a tough shot, but Crockett had to fire. Irving tries again. That time the line drive shot goes down.
You know, Doug, you mentioned that shot he made off the glass, and when a player makes a shot like that, it makes him that much more confident to pull up for a three-point shot, even if he's not a three-point shooter.
Timeout for Texas Tech. It'll be a full timeout for the Red Raiders. Check out Martavius. Irving. Oh, yes. There's the answer. Kansas State starting to pull away. Here in Lubbock, Texas. 10-point lead for Kansas State. Steve and I making our annual pilgrimage to lovely Lubbock, Texas. We come here every year. It seems like a different coach every year for Texas Tech.
You're right. I mean, we've seen both of the Knights, now Chris Walker, Gillespie.
And nobody does it quite like Chris Walker. As you look at the offensive rebounding numbers, again, Kansas State dominating now off the glass. And those second chance points have been big for the Wildcats.
And I still think they need a steady diet of either Kravitz or Tolbert down on the block.
Gray that time goes to the left side. Looked pretty good doing it against Irving.
Well, you see he's got the talent, and they're really high on him, his ability to blow by the defenders, just his decision-making. And during this game today, he's done an exceptional job of running the Red Raiders.
Southwell passed up the shot. Irving has the hot hand right now. That's good basketball right there. Good movement, getting yourself open. That's a veteran basketball team doing it well.
We see what makes Shane Southwell number 4 in the Big 12 in field goal percentage from the 3. He passed up a good shot and got a better one. Not too many players have that type of patience on the offensive end.
Well, the last 6 times down, it's been one and done for Texas Tech and Rodney Magruder. That's just a 2-pointer. His foot was on the line. So an 11-point lead is the largest of the night. 13 points, excuse me, largest of the night for Kansas State. They're now 7 of 15 from behind the arc.
And when you you can really see the talent disparity right now with K-State. And a closer look, you can see Rodney Magruder's foot squarely on that red. Not sure if the officials saw that or did they call that a 3?
Call it a 2. They're on it. Tell me this, Stephen. Kansas State, 17-4, one of the best starts in school history. They did lose to Michigan and Gonzaga. Gonzaga's beaten everybody in the
Good losses, though. Those are good losses.
But they beat a very, very talented Florida team that has been blowing everybody out. That was a huge win for them in Kansas City.
That Florida victory is going to be the gift that keeps on giving throughout that whole season. And whenever you see Joe Lunardi, whenever they talk about bracketology, it's going to have good losses against the Zags in Michigan, but a great victory against Florida. I mean, I don't know if you could have a better victory because, as you mentioned, the BPI loves Florida, and they are an exceptional basketball team, and I wouldn't be surprised to see them in the Final Four.
Florida and Miami in the ACC. Florida, of course, in the SEC. The only undefeated teams in the 6 major conferences. Kravitz inside. Good lob inside. And the big guy got position and made it look easy.
That was just great patience, great high-low action by Texas Tech. That was a design play by Chris Walker doing that timeout, executed to a T.
Amari Lawrence is now in for Kansas State. And that whistle inside goes against Texas Tech. That'll be against Kravitz. And we'll be right back after this message from your friends at Phillips 66.
Going to take a look at that last high-low play by the Red Raiders. And a great misdirection. And you're going to see right when Jordan Tolbert gets the ball right here, Kravitz does the flash and gets the position over Shane Southwell. And when he does that, he has the advantage. You can either give him the basketball now, Southwell fights over it, and this is even better. Tolbert puts it perfectly right where only Kravitz can get it. Kravitz goes up strong, and that was a perfectly executed high-low play by the Red Raiders.
6 points off the bench for the big man from Canada, who needs to get a little stronger, but certainly has skill. Actually got a piece of that one. That was a nice defensive play against Southwell.
Well, the hardest thing for Tolbert is the fact that he's 6'7", going against 6'10", you know, Big 12 big men in this conference. And really, he's probably more of a 3-4 hybrid, but he's having to battle in there with some of the most physical, athletic bigs in the country.
Rodney Magruder back in for the Wildcats. 12 points, 6 rebounds for the senior.
Right now for Texas Tech, you need to have that same defensive intensity that they started the second half with, where they were active and energized with deflections and getting steals.
Kansas State plus 17 in rebounding. That has been the big story. Second half, when Texas Tech misses, they usually just get one opportunity. Josh Gray, though, gets that one to rattle home. They're hanging around.
Doug, that's a play that all point guards need to have in their repertoire, the ability to get into the lane, throw up that floater to go over the defense. You don't touch anyone, you don't get a charge, and you're able to get your shot off against anybody.
And Magruder, that is a 3. He now has 15 points. Looking at the three-point shooting, now 50% for the Wildcats.
Really, you're seeing with Kansas State, they are the best three-point field goal defensive team in the Big 12. And they're doing an exceptional job on a team in Texas Tech that really doesn't shoot the rock well from distance.
Jordan Henriquez.
Number 21, Jordan Henriquez. In for the Red Raiders, number 4, Ty Nurse. For number
Ty
2,
Nurse back in for the Red Raiders. For Henriquez, that's his second foul tonight.
And I think really what's important for Henriquez is just the fact that he's in the game. You see the length that he provides in the block, and that just deters so many jump shots in the lane.
And that foul will go against Omari Lawrence.
Foul number 12
And again, here's that Enriquez effect. Just being long down on the block. Tech comes up with the second chance opportunity in Enriquez with that length. You can't teach height. And that's something that you can't teach, that anticipation and ability to be right there in the lane, protecting the rim at all times. Even though they got the shot, didn't get the and-one opportunity.
Number 21, Jordan Enriquez.
Josh Gibson now back in for the Wildcats. Kravitz with 8 points. And he will go to the bench, and Jay Crockett now in for the Red Raiders.
And really, Doug, what Coach Walker wants is just to be within striking distance. You want to just keep this within 10, 4 or 5 minutes, and then make a push. But right now, the Red Raiders are right where they want to be late in this basketball game.
That was Bubba Jennings talking to Kravitz on the bench, and Bubba has been here for a long time. Great player and an assistant coach for just about everybody.
He was telling me some more stories of when he was trying out for the Dallas Mavericks back in the day.
Oh, up and under by Irving, who's had a big second half for Kansas State.
No, he really has, and you're looking at a guy that really isn't looked on to score, only averages 4.4 points a game. So anything above that, just icing on the cake for the Wildcats.
Tolbert. He's been quiet in the second half after 10 points in that first half.
But that's really what Jordan Tolbert has to do. Use that quickness to go around Thomas Gibson. You're not going to win a fight backing him down, but you can go around him.
Bruce Weber thought Irving got slapped across the wrist, and Gibson tried to keep it alive, and he does.
Texas Tech looking a little bit tired out there. I think the physicality of the Wildcats is wearing down the Red Raiders a little bit.
Tolbert. That's his second bucket now in the second half. He now has 15 points.
You know, Doug, that's his first three-pointer of the year, and that's a shot that Chris Walker is saying, no, yes!
Looked pretty good on that one.
Oh, he looked like that's the shot that they were looking for. Like they were sizing that up all game long.
Looked like a clean steal, but Williams gets called for the reach. Martavius Irving, he is strong to the hole. 8-point lead for Kansas State on top by 8 with 7:02 to play. Doug Bell and Stephen Howard. And how about the senior from Fort Lauderdale, Martavius Irving? He's come on strong the second half, Stephen.
No, he really has, and particularly from distance, 2 for 3 from beyond the arc, and his ability to come up and shoot the ball with confidence is just big. And that's what the motion offense gives you. It gives multiple players the ability to score on the offensive end. And when you have guys like Martavius Irving stepping up, making shots, that's huge for your team.
He is our 6th man of the game, brought to you by Motel 6, Martavius Irving. And a miss by Omari Lawrence. Kansas State has 4 southpaws, I believe. A lot of lefties on this roster.
And that's a recipe for a great team, Doug, let me tell you.
Coming from a great southpaw himself in the DePaul Hall of Fame, went on to play in the NBA, my partner.
Tech needs to try to initiate their offense early. They keep trying to get shots in that red part of the shot clock.
Oh, keeping it alive is Kravitz.
When that play was made by Josh Gray's ability to get into the defense, and then Kravitz had no body on him because the defense had converged on Josh Gray.
Again, the Red Raiders just hanging around. Angel Rodriguez has been quiet in the second half. And Gray knocked that ball out of bounds. So it'll be 9 on the shot clock as the Wildcats bring it in from underneath their basket.
Great job by Gocher coming in there to hinder Angel Rodriguez's process and really stand in front of him in the rim.
Southwell inside to Magruder. Yes, counted and the foul. That's two guys who've played a lot of basketball together.
Well, for me, Shane Southwell is the MIP, the most important player, passing it to the MVP, the most valuable player for the Wildcats, and his ability to be that point forward, the best passer for the Wildcats, and that was exhibited in that last play with a nice pass to Rodney Magruder in the paint.
So Magruder now with 18 points to lead the Wildcats. Texas Tech was 16 fouls, so on the next foul by the Red Raiders, it'll be 1 in the bonus for Kansas State.
Really, you can't say enough about what Chris Walker has done coaching this basketball team, and his ability to get players in is I really think, the biggest boon for the Red Raiders.
And the offensive foul, the push-off called on Josh Gray. 3 fouls on Gray, player control foul, so they won't shoot. They will on the next one, perhaps.
And that's one of those mental lapses that they talk about when it comes to Josh Gray. That one needed, just blow by him. Don't let Angel Rodriguez bother you because he's baiting you into that foul.
Four-guard lineup for Kansas State. Terrific ball movement. And Tolbert ran into Angel Rodriguez, so that will be 1 in the bonus.
And again, this Wildcat team has returned 86% of their scoring offense, and the motion offense does not work if you don't have players that can pass the rock. You see Magruder did a great job of once the defense came to him, hit Angel Rodriguez, and that's why this offense works so well.
4 fouls now on Tolbert, so he will go to the bench. Rodriguez shooting right into the student section.
And people don't realize how difficult that is to shoot free throws with all that activity behind you. It takes an extended amount of concentration to make that work.
Still plenty of time, just under 5.5 to play here in Lubbock. A 9-point cushion. Red, he just blows by the defender. That quick move to the right.
All he needs is a little bit more confidence, a little bit more structure on that jump shot, but he's got the athleticism.
Ball jumped in there, nearly got the steal, and Magruder taps it out to Southwell.
Great play by Southwell, not shooting that ball. Bring it back and getting another attempt at a basket.
Gibson. The game keeps it alive. New 35 in the shot clock, and Rodriguez will bring it back out close to midcourt and set things up.
Gibson is your consummate below-the-rim player. Kravitz doing a good job of staying on his feet and not letting him get that advantage.
Magruder was open, just lost the handle. Southwell has Rodriguez wide open in the corner. Hits the side of the backboard.
That was great offense and better defense by the Red Raiders, forcing Angel Rodriguez from a difficult shot from a bad angle in the corner.
Kravitz shows his jump hook.
And see, that's where Thomas Gibson has problems with tall, long-rangey players, and he couldn't do anything with Kravitz's jump hook off over that left shoulder. Too short to affect that jump shot.
Stradling comes up short, but another rebound. Again, that's been the story tonight. Kansas State has absolutely dominated. Now plus 18 in rebounds. Timeout, Bruce Weber and Kansas State.
Timeout, Wildcats.
Tonight's Big 12 Network game has been brought to you by Phillips 66, experts in gas since 1927. USAA, proudly serving the financial needs of the military, veterans, and their families. Whataburger, proud to serve it hot and fresh 24 hours a day. And by La Quinta Inns and Suites. Wake up on the bright side at La Quinta Inns and Suites. Back here in Lubbock, Texas, where Kansas State calls the timeout. The Red Raiders are just hanging around. They still have time, Stephen.
Yeah, and you really got to commend Coach Chris Walker. And I was talking to him this morning and his ability to recruit. And you talk about star players, and Texas Tech has not had a lot of them. And I talked to Dallas Kimball coach Snoop Jackson this morning. And next week, they've got Keith Frazier coming here, number 22 on the ESPN 100, a phenomenal high school player from Dallas who people liken to Ray Allen a little bit, but with the ability to put on the bounce like Kerry Kittles. And so bringing guys in like that, I think, is what Chris Walker brings to the table. And he wants to not get those diamonds in the rough here at Texas Tech. He wants to bring those diamonds in. And so I think his ability to bring those type of players in speaks a lot to his ability to bring Texas Tech back into the fold as a power in the Big 12.
He has played everybody on the roster tonight. Southwell wide open. And a whistle inside goes against Crockett. 3 fouls on Jay Crockett. We'll be right back. 3:19 to play. Kansas State vying for their 18th victory of the season and go 7-2 in Big 12 play. Rodney Magruder, the senior, another outstanding night. He is so smooth.
Well, he's Mr. Blue Collar for a team that exemplifies being blue collar. You see him doing it every which way, showcasing his full repertoire of offensive moves inside, outside, being patient with the offense, using this motion offense to his benefit. But you got to credit the team finding Rodney Magruder in positions where he can be effective. And this was a great team aspect. Rodney Magruder scores because of his teammates.
And he is our Geico player of the game, Rodney Magruder. 18 points, 7 boards. Very consistent and has been for many years now at Kansas State.
He just does it in an efficient manner. There's no wasted motions with him, no wasted shots.
Red Raiders, Josh Gray somehow got that pass to Tolbert, and Crockett loses it out of bounds.
I look at the Red Raiders now. They're not giving up at all. They're going after every loose ball. There is no give up. A lot of fight left in the Red Raiders. You got to commend Chris Walker the way that he's coached up this basketball team to really play with one of the better Big 12 teams this year.
1 minute into the second half, they trail by only 3, and then 4 minutes gone in the second half, they trail by only 4. And then with 6 minutes to play, it was a 6-point game, so they have hung around against the 13th ranked team in the country. Give them credit.
Yeah, and you look at the skill disparity for Texas Tech and Kansas State, and that's what Chris Walker talks about. You just need one piece to come in here, and it will make all things worthwhile, and other players will follow. But you got to start on the recruiting trail.
Rodriguez to Gibson, who gets that to fall. Kravitz with a foul.
And that's all Angel Rodriguez. Patient, getting into the teeth of the defense, getting into the lane, waiting for the defense to converge, and then you hit it to your big man. You ride your horse down the stretch. Thomas Gibson, great job going up strong.
Luke Adams actually was called for the foul there, so that's the first foul on Adams. And if Gibson gets a little bit stronger, a little more confident, he's going to be stuffing those balls.
I don't know if we want Gibson to get any stronger, Doug. He's among the strongest in the Big 12 already. I think we need to cap out his strength.
A lot of big guys in the team. DJ Johnson is a man with a stout body.
I think you said it correctly when you just said man, because he is a man among boys when you see him warming up and playing during practice.
Lubbock Kravich. Again, Kansas State making it difficult to score, although Gray had an open look. But they lead the Big 12 in scoring defense, allowing just under 58 points a game, and they're on target again to come in just under that.
That was a play right there that Coach Weber wants Angel Rodriguez to pull it out. As a guy getting more mature, learning basketball, you got to know, down the stretch, pull it out, wait, get a good shot. You don't need to go up in the lane and throw up a shot like he did.
And Gibson again goes to the left.
And that's what Texas Tech has to do. Right now they're in a position they have to make stops every time down. They can't continue to exchange baskets.
And the stuff. Very well done by Jordan Tolbert. And the foul.
Foul number 13,
Angel Rodriguez called for the foul inside.
Well, nice high-low pass. Kravich from way out in the perimeter. And Tolbert did the job early on with the nice seal on Shane Southwell. Went up strong, and you could hear that slap on his wrist all the way out here. And that's strength and poise going up with that shot and creating the N1 opportunity.
Tolbert now with a season best 16 points, or at least Big 12 best, now with 17. You
see Texas Tech putting in that full court pressure. Kansas State didn't seem like they were ready for it.
Coming up this Saturday in the Big 12 Network, it's Studio 66 tipping things off at 12:30 Central Time. These are the East Coast times for our friends at West Virginia, because they play in one of the second games, West Virginia TCU or Texas Tech against Baylor. That first game should be interesting, Oklahoma State, Texas.
Actually, I think that Baylor-Texas Tech game is going to be the most exciting game on the slate.
You going to be there?
Actually, I think I might be there, Doug, now that you mention it.
I had a feeling that you're going to be down in Waco. Bruce Weber has really done an outstanding job inheriting a team that Frank Martin recruited, and he's put his own stamp on it. They defensively a little more help defense, a little more team defense, but they still like that man-to-man. And upcoming for Kansas State, it's awfully interesting. Iowa State, Kansas, Baylor, 3 in a row are all important games.
Yeah, and really enough can't be said about what Bruce Weber's done. One of the more difficult things to do as a coach is to go into an established good team and sustain that. And you have a coach in Frank Martin that was beloved by his players, and they've embraced Bruce Weber, his style of play. Took him a while to get acclimated to it, but you see what makes him one of the better offensive coaches in the country.
Angel Rodriguez. Concentration at the line.
And for the Wildcats, number 42, Thomas Gibson. In for the Red Raiders, number 11, Deion Kravich, number 4.
Thomas Gibson now back in for Kansas State. And Chris Walker continues to send players in and out. Deion Kravich back in.
Tech needs to score quickly each time down the court.
Tolbert was going for a second three-pointer of the season.
He's 50% though. I mean, still like the numbers. Right now you see the Wildcats, they're just going to milk the clock each time down the court.
1 minute.
Texas Tech might need to start fouling.
Rodriguez looks up. There's now 9 seconds on the shot clock. Southwell breaks the double team. And he just threw it too hard to Thomas Gibson, who wasn't quite ready for that fastball.
Even though Kansas State didn't come up with a basket, they did eat a lot of clock, about 28 seconds. So if they continue to do that, really won't have enough time for the Red Raiders.
deep.
What a rebound.
And the rebound by Tolbert. Boy, Tolbert has been huge. Quick timeout for Texas Tech with 26.6 on the clock. And Tolbert now with 19 points to lead the Red Raiders.
I mean, Jordan Tolbert goes up with one hand and grabs it in the apex, and then goes up with that same hand and dunks it. If you want to know what athleticism means, look up in the dictionary right now, and you'll see Jordan Tolbert in his picture. That, along with that first play of the game, the tip dunk, have to be two of the most athletic plays I've seen all year long.
Well, Kansas State in the double bonus. And the referees are looking at the time just to make sure.
I disagree, Doug. The refs are looking at that offensive rebound and that dunk. They're thinking, wow, I want to see that again. We think they're looking at the clock, but really they're over there talking about Jordan Tolbert.
You saw the clock stop on the timeout at 26.6, and we'll see if they perhaps put a half a second back up on the clock. Season high for Jordan Tolbert. It's been a big night for the young man. Second-year player from Fort Worth, Texas. And they did change the clock now. They put it about a second and a half up there, so it's 28 seconds. Spradling can run the baseline. All handlers and all good free throw shooters in the game now for Kansas State. Magruder to Rodriguez. Time ticks away, and that'll do it. Red Raiders will back off, and that's a final from Lubbock, Texas. Bruce Weber and the Wildcats ranked number 13 in the land, a 68-59 winner, and they remain just a game, or at least a half a game now, behind Kansas, who plays against TCU tomorrow.
For me, their ability to win on the road, 7-8 on the road, has been the staple of Kansas State this year. You want to be good, you got to win on the road. That's it from the United Spirit Arena, where the final score is Kansas State 68-59. The next Big 12 Network telecast is Saturday, where Oklahoma State takes on Texas, followed by a Big 12 doubleheader. We'll say so long from Lubbock, Texas.